So can I ask you, what's one aspect of your sleep experience that you wish more people understood?
It's not misunderstood but important to say my body never stops working. People with cerebral palsy work harder than neurotypical people just to do basic things: move, breathe, speak. And that doesn't shut off at night. Sleep isn't just rest for me, it's how my brain and body recover from non-stop effort.
So how much sleep do you end up getting? How much sleep is enough for you, do you think, for you to feel rested the following day?
About 8 hours.
Wow. Okay. So, what you're hearing is an example of we're humans and we all kind of need different amounts of sleep, and you fall into that sort of normal category, normal range, quote unquote, which we say is generally 7 to 9 hours for the majority of folks. So, really, we're looking at least 8 hours of sleep for you. So, that's really helpful information. So, how has your relationship with sleep evolved throughout your life with CP?
Lack of sleep isn't good for anyone, but for me, it makes everything harder. I'm a left side sleeper, and when I'm congested or sick, I sleep with my adjustable bed elevated to help keep my airways clear and lower my risk of aspiration. Because I can't blow my nose accurately, congestion can make restful sleep difficult. For years, my nighttime clonazepam made me tired at night, but that side effect isn't an issue anymore. Still, daytime tiredness impacts my ability to fully participate in school, work, social life, or therapy. When I don't get enough rest, my motor skills become less precise, and my thinking slows down, making daily tasks more difficult.
What I would say, Kayla, is that what you're manifesting is exactly what happens to the rest of us. I tend to drop more things. My mood is impacted. None of us really function the way we're supposed to if we're not getting proper sleep. In fact, chronic sleep deprivation can kind of mimic being intoxicated. That's how uncoordinated we are in terms of our reaction time and other factors. So, you mentioned something interesting, which is clonazepam. So, for those of us listening, a lot of people have heard of benzodiazepines. Clonazepam is in that family, and it's a medication that can be used for many things. In sleep specifically, we often may reserve it for people who have what we call parasomnias or behaviors that are occurring during sleep. Very commonly, for example, REM behavior disorder, but it can be used for things like managing seizures, controlling movement that occurs during the evening, spasticity, which can affect cerebral palsy folks, not to mention other psychiatric conditions like panic disorder or even OCD. So one of the key features of clonazepam is it has a long half-life, meaning you take one tablet and it lasts a long time in the body. But one of the effects can be that it can contribute to feeling fatigued and kind of tired during the day. May I ask why you were taking it, and do you think it's impacted your sleep at all?
Also known as Klonopin.
That's right.
I take it for seizures. Doctors and my family also say it relaxes my muscles just enough to sleep.
Yeah, so it's worked. It's sort of like an appropriate sleep aid, getting at movement and spasticity that can occur at night that make it hard to get relaxation. So I want to switch gears a little bit because in our first episode together, we spent quite a bit of time talking a bit about CP, but not as much time talking about your epilepsy journey. So I was hoping that you could tell us more about what's been going on with that.
I had seizures at birth, but they weren't recognized again until I was about 2 1/2. We now think I was having seizures, mostly falling asleep or waking up. My seizures range from brief staring episodes to full-on grand mal seizures. It took a while to find the right medication. I was on Keppra 3 times a day and clonazepam at bedtime for years. I stayed seizure-free from 2011 to 2022, until an isolated breakthrough seizure awake. As a sophomore, I successfully weaned off Keppra. Interestingly, studies show over 30% of seizures occur during sleep, especially focal and frontal lobe types. This shows how crucial sleep is not only for me but for many living with epilepsy.
Can you share more about the sleep-seizure connection in your life?
Lack of sleep isn't good for anyone. If I don't sleep well, my risk for seizures goes up. Poor sleep not only tires me but also impairs my motor control and cognitive functions.
How did your family help discover the sleep-related seizure issue?
My parents noticed when I was falling asleep or waking up. Those subtle moments were key clues. This made it clear that sleep is a shared experience. Families play an important role in noticing and supporting these challenges.
That is a great observation. So, what advice would you give to families dealing with a child who has epilepsy?
Keep track of everything, write it down. If your gut says something's off, push for answers. Ask for an EEG while remembering that unless someone has seizure activity during it, it'll come back normal. For example, my 20-minute EEG after my breakthrough seizure didn't give us any indication of why it happened.
That is such a good point, Kayla. Thank you for reminding us of that. So, anyone listening, a normal EEG doesn't necessarily rule it out. You kind of have to capture it on the EEG. So, sometimes it can be a bit of an expedition trying to really discover what's going on, especially if things are sort of not happening all the time or what we call intermittently every once in a while.